free or left I am.
This is the way of the dork. I mean, nerd. I don't know.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 78 of the Four Dorksmen podcast. I'm Nate, aka Angry Nate.
I am Collector Clint.
This is Asian Tony Stark.
And instead of Joey this week, we've got two very special guests that if you stack them one on top of each other, I think get up to maybe Joey's knees. But I'll let the guys introduce themselves.
When do you start?
Go ahead, Dave.
Oh,
Who goes
okay.
first?
Oh man. So I'm Dave. I'm with the Average Nerd Podcast.
And I am Jorge, also known as Toys R Us Kid and the guy in the yellow beanie from the Average Nerd Podcast.
That's right. Anything
Awesome.
but average, but we are thrilled to have you guys here with us.
Absolutely.
It is
We're
an honor. Thank you for
super
having us.
excited to have you guys on. A couple quick housekeeping things before we get too far into it. Make sure you're following us on Twitter and Instagram at _Dorksmen. You can always email us at dorksmen@gmail.com. I've been meaning to update the automated robot email, but I've been busy this week by updating all our previous podcasts that I could find.
Thank you for doing that.
Previous 77 episodes are almost all there. I think we're missing a couple because just we've changed hosts, we've changed delivery methods over the last year and a bit now. So so that's why some are missing. We'll get them back to you. But if you want to start from the beginning, episode 1 all the way through to now 78, when you're listening to this, is all available on Podbean.
Just be kind if you start from the beginning, because those episodes are a little more rough than what we
they're
have
a little
now.
more rough than now, yeah, for sure. But yeah, what else we got going on? Make sure you're playing bingo. If you like to play podcast bingo, you can always play at dorksmenbingo.com. As always, shout out to Andrew New Beardland for building that bingo card for us. And of course, shout out to Larry from the SDS guys for giving us the redirect. So without much further delay, one of my favorite segments that we have on the show, Ask the Dorksmen. We love getting you guys' questions. Please continue to use the hashtag. Please continue to interact with us and give us those questions. We love it. Our first question this week comes from our good buddy Ed, avid bingo player. Hopefully you get him a bingo at some point and he shares his card. The funny thing here is that Clint pasted the question and it's supposed to be butt wasted or butt twisted, but it says butt waster, which is also incredible.
It sounds like an awesome action movie. I am
right.
Butt wasted.
It's like a Simpsons, riff, right? Like, where it's like, yeah.
With Rainier Wolfcastle.
Yeah, exactly.
Your butt is wasted.
One thing, guys, that you'll know really quickly, Dave and Jorge, is that we go off topic like insanely all the time and really quickly. Like this segment's usually supposed to be a quick question and answer, but it at times turns into like a half hour off topic talking about nothing that has anything to do with the question. So just in case it happens, don't be alarmed.
We're guilty of that too, so I totally understand.
Right.
Make sure you guys are all entertaining. So
it's
don't
good.
Stop
Yeah.
doing it. Yeah.
It just flows, right? Like you start talking and it's hard to stop talking as I continue to Anyways, Ed's question. Let's pretend you want something as background noise, be it music or a TV show or something, or just anything at all. What is your go-to thing to have in the background while doing something else? For Ed, it's always Star Trek or the music of Ween. Normally Joey goes first, but since he's not here today,
I'll go first.
Yeah, you want to go first, Clint?
I'll go first. So, I have two answers to this question, just like Ed does. I have one that's a TV show, and then I have music. So, my first one is The Simpsons. It's always been something I can have on the background. I don't much anymore, just because it gets more in the background. It's more like My Little Pony or Octonauts or whatever Ava's watching at the time. But when it's just me at home, that was always something I always had on in the background. It's funny. I've gotten to the point on some of those episodes where I can close my eyes and just picture it and see it word frame for frame, going on in my head. So I definitely don't even need to watch it anymore to know the quotes or know what's happening in the story. But that's one. When I'm working, actually, Homestar Runner is one that pops in my head a lot too. I love that cartoon and think it's so funny. So I'm glad it's still around to you, despite the fact that Flash is no longer a thing. That's how old it is. But anyway, as for music, I could definitely put on a number of Spotify playlists. You guys know the Foo Fighters are my favorite. I've been really into Frank Turner lately. If you guys haven't listened to him, I would strongly recommend it. But usually that kind of genre. Usually if I'm like doing dishes, I'll ask Alexa to play 90s music. And it usually has like the same, it seems like the same 7 songs on it. But I know them pretty well, so I just let it flow. But that's, I guess, my answer. So yeah, a little TV like Ed and a little music like Ed. Ryan,
Awesome.
how about you?
TV side, these days, if I do sit in the living room while I'm doing my work, it's typically like, what do I watch in the news? Like MSNBC. I know people have their opinions about news networks. I watch it because I feel like it gives me enough of the information that I want to hear about what's especially going on in the world these days. But it's also, I like the people that are providing you the news, like the actual newscasters. I like their personalities. And for music, if I'm sitting here in said chair, whether I'm doing personal work or if I'm like say streaming or doing anything personal related, I'm using a lot of Stream Beats, which is, shout out to Harris Heller. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with him, but he's a streamer, he's a YouTuber, great guy, does a lot of things for the streamer community, and he's produced a lot of great music in conjunction with like most producers. I use that in air quotes, but just a lot of good content. It's DMCA free, so if you guys are streamers, you don't have to worry about getting any kind of copyright strike.
It's cool. That makes sense. Let's put our guests on the spot here.
All
Jorge,
right.
Dave.
Let's see. While I'm usually working, I've been on like Twitch a lot lately. Like, I'll just have it up on the background because I feel like people are streaming all the time. I follow, not only like our new Nerds Unite community, but I follow some Rocket League Twitchers and also some Pokemon Go folks.
Sure. Wait, can you stream Pokemon Go?
Yeah, there are some people
Yeah.
that stream
Really?
Pokemon Go.
Yes.
I think
Actually, yeah, yesterday one of my favorite streamers, Trainer Tips. He's also a YouTube vlogger. He was a guest on one of our streams one time. But on community days, he actually DJs, play some music while people are playing community day and everything. So it's been pretty cool to have his music in the background while playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
But also just
That's
like
really cool.
yeah.
I had no. There's so many things you can do with streaming. That's awesome. I had no clue.
Yeah.
No clue. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then music wise, let's see. I mean, like I have my go-tos, but I'm still really into Twice. It's a K-pop group. But yeah, I'll usually have them in the background too for some reason.
Nice.
Shout out
There's
to
no wrong answers. You can just answer.
Right, yeah.
truthfully. You can make
just
something up.
have,
We don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, you should have white noise on and it'd be okay. Like, honestly. You should loop at yourself talking to you and that'd be fine. Like, just whatever gets you through the day these days, honestly.
It's all accepted.
Yeah, it's
all of it is accepted. There's
That's true.
and there's so much out there. That's the thing. I mean, people listening to this
Mhm.
are like, I've never heard of that. I need to go look at it. So
Mhm.
absolutely sure. I've gotten a little more into K-pop ever since I saw Trolls World Tour and saw the K-pop Trolls. So I know a little bit
Amazing.
more about it now. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They
That's
have a
amazing.
K-pop part in there.
They so not to get too much into the story, but they have a specific like set of 5 trolls that are just K-pop. So
Spoiler
yeah.
alert.
That's hilarious. That's cool.
I
so
might need to look that up.
it's a good movie. It's a decent movie. Thank God, kid movies are so much better than I thought they would be. But off topic.
This
Jorge,
kind
how
of
about
makes
you?
sense though. I guess like with the
Oh,
world,
totally.
the world part of trolls having representation, it matters. That's
It just
cool.
isn't a big amount, but still fun music. Anyway,
Yeah.
Jorge, your turn.
That's actually a good tangent because speaking of international music, one that I've been exploring more and playing in the background as I do chores or whatever is I think it's called OPM and not other people's money. It's not
Oh, is it
Oh,
like
then never mind.
original Filipino music?
yes, it
Oh,
is.
Nice
It is.
job.
Nice.
There's like a lot of these modern new artists coming out of the Philippines that I started to get exposed to thanks to one of my friends sharing some playlists with me, and it's really good, talented music. Luckily enough, I can understand Tagalog for the most part, which is the dialect of the Philippines,
Mhm.
and it's just amazing music, and I've been having that on lately in the background. So that's been a lot of
Nice.
fun exploring that. It's like a whole new world of music that I just
Right.
started.
What is it comparable to, if anything?
Honestly, a lot of it is it's kind of like indie alternative. There's like
Okay.
those genres from out here,
Sure.
and then there's a lot of like R&B and hip hop that's coming out of there too. That's really good.
Are there instances of it combined?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
they're
There's some
even
songs that I've had on repeat for like a week, and I can't stop listening to them. They're that good.
Nice.
Nice.
kind of I don't know. My friends and I kind of find it funny, but they're actually starting to have some P-pop groups. So they're kind of like
Yes.
K-pop, but they're Filipino
Yes.
pop.
And
Yeah.
what was the slang for it?
P-pop?
P-pop. Okay, I just want to make sure I heard you right. Okay.
K-pop, J-pop, P-pop.
Right. I mean, I
You
just
know.
I just want to make sure I know what that means when somebody says, "Hey, let's make a P-pop album." Like, oh,
Whoa, hey, what are you sending me this mixtape of?
R. Kelly has
P-pop
more
or
music out.
F-pop?
I don't know. So that's why I want to make sure I understand. Okay, very cool.
Right.
All right,
not
Nate,
sure.
you've stalled, made everybody else answer. It's your turn.
If people want to explore it or dive into it or give it a shot, there's a station on YouTube called Wish 107.5,
I follow
and
that too.
yes, and you can find a lot of new talent on there if you ever want to explore it. Wish
Nice.
107.5 on YouTube.
Do you know where that's like located? Is it out of California or is it somewhere else?
That's in the Philippines.
It's
It's
in the
basically
Philippines, actually. Okay.
it's
Yeah,
a
and
giant tour bus, and then they
Mhm.
get these bands or artists into the bus and they perform in there while there's
Oh,
crowds
that's cool.
surrounding.
Oh,
That's
I've always
awesome.
wanted to try to find it when I was out there, but I never stumbled upon it yet.
So it's like a mobile recording studio, basically, where
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I just want to say, having you guys on, being so like polite and quiet and letting each other go, it's very Canadian. So it's very warms my heart and it makes me feel right at home. Being
Shut up, Nate. It's your turn. Let's go.
And Clint brings me back to reality.
No, I didn't say
Um,
anything. That was Clint.
Yeah. But Ryan has respect. Ryan respects me, I think. Maybe.
I do.
Nate,
It-
just
it-
Staring,
I
staring
think,
blankly at the camera right now.
honestly, I think it's an Asian cultural thing, to be
Yeah,
honest,
yeah.
too. Just to be, frank about it, because Clint, sorry to say, not to poke fun at you, but you are kind of outnumbered in that respect because the rest
Yes,
of
I
us
was
are
gonna say
Asian.
he's
little bit.
outnumbered today.
You're the, dare I say, token white dude today.
Well, you could also call me the privileged white guy, and I demand everything to go my way all the time. So
Yeah, we're
don't
not
be
gonna go
surprised
there,
if I do
though.
that. Yeah,
We didn't
good.
want to make it political, so
That's not political. It's just who I am.
Anyways, okay. For me, background, yeah, like a lot of people out there, I'm watching a lot of Twitch these days. There's truly just so much content on Twitch.
There's good content.
Yeah, one streamer that I just started following, his name is Mikey, and he's a Uber Eats delivery driver, and he rides his bike through New York City as a delivery driver. So when I get up in the morning and I start my work day or whatever, he's a couple hours into his stream already,
Mhm.
and let me tell you, if you've never driven in New York City, it is awful.
Oh,
It looks awful. Like I get anxious watching him ride his bike. But he's like, he's born and raised in New York. He's riding his he's been riding his bike in that city forever. But just watching the stream, like, because it's like first person on his bike and he's just going through traffic. It's like he clearly has a green light, and there's pedestrians just crossing the street because it's like it's New York City.
New York
Oh,
City,
yeah.
yeah.
You
it's
literally
Manhattan.
do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And it's so anxious, like it's so anxiety building, but I love it because he's great at interacting at chat. He's really funny. He's just super positive guy. He just enjoys his job and he just enjoys what he does. And a lot of times he'll stop at like places as he's going. He'll be like, hey, this is something about this building here. So you kind of get a little bit of a history lesson as you go through as well. So if you can find him, so if you can find him and catch him on the stream, he usually streams in the morning. He's great. I love watching him.
Wow. I would have never thought to stream delivering food in New York City.
Yep. It works.
That's impressive.
Yeah, the
It
concept
sounds
kinda-
interesting.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember that movie Premium Rush with Joseph?
Oh,
Gordon-Levitt?
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
kind of sounded like that.
It's like there's so obviously he has like a bag on his bike where he can put his food and stuff, and he's riding, but there's times where he's getting like bubble tea or he's getting like drinks and like Starbucks, and it's like you can't just put that in a bag and ride your bike. So he's got it in a bag on his handlebars as he's weaving through traffic, and it's just like it's like a mini game. Like you're watching like this guy like dodge
like a mini
traffic.
game.
Yeah, it's just like
It's like Paperboy on steroids.
Oh, it's like Frogger.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
playing
Yeah.
Frogger.
Still find a way to respond to chat as well.
Yeah,
how
he
do you-
does.
how
Like
do you
he'll
do
stop
that?
at like he'll stop at a red light and he'll respond to chat. He'll chat. He'll throw music on in between deliveries and like yeah, he's super active with the chat, which is makes it all the more impressive, honestly. Because if I had to ride a bike and even just listen to music or something, I would be terrified because I couldn't hear traffic. And let alone this guy is sitting there talking to chat while he's riding his bike through New York City is super impressive.
It's to say the least.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Just thinking about that traffic in New York gives me anxiety. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah. I love New York City. Like I'm a big
Yes.
fan, and I can't wait to visit again. But yeah, if I never have to drive in that city or anything like that, I'd die happy. Honestly, small request.
yeah.
And yeah, if I'm working and like I've actually got to like buckle down and work, it's just whatever's on my Spotify playlist. Like there's nothing that I don't really have a go-to. It's just kind of like whatever's available, like
Sure.
whatever I'm in the mood for. I'll just
So no Biggie.
oh yeah, it's on there. It's just this
Okay.
massive playlist, and I'll just hit shuffle, and I'm happy with whatever's on my playlist. So
Fair enough.
there's nothing that I like specifically go to and like only listen to. So yeah.
Cool.
But I should expand my musical tastes and my musical
We all
enjoyment. Yeah.
Well,
should.
I
So,
let me rephrase that. I should. Jorge already and Dave are already doing it, so
Right.
I need to follow their lead.
good examples, polite young men. This is the best. Making Clint a better person, one podcast at a time.
There's our
That's what we're
podcast
doing here.
title: Making Clint a Better Person.
I was gonna use token white dude, but
That works.
Yeah,
too.
that's
That works.
cool.
Okay,
That
well,
works
let's
too.
combine them. You could be making the token white dude a better person.
I like it.
Anyway,
Thank you, Ed. Thanks for the question. Thanks for the answer. We love it when you answer your own question without having to have Clint cycle through and hastily respond to you on Twitter as we record, which is
I wonder
also
what Star
fun.
Trek though. I wonder if it's the original or if it's any Star Trek.
That's a good point.
knowing Ed,
let
I'd
us know.
probably say the original.
I would
I
too,
think
but
so
I'm just
too,
curious.
yeah.
All right.
All right. Next question comes from our good friend Steph, _Steffel on Twitter. And her question is, which really ties into our topic today. And the question is, who is your superhero crush? And Ryan, you cannot use Iron Man because that's way too easy.
So I guess I need some clarification on this question. Is this like
Right.
somebody like you find like attractive, or is this just like your favorite superhero kind of thing?
I think by when she defined crush, it means like one. It's more of a who you find attractive, who you
Okay.
find like as a potential. If you were also a superhero, a romantic partner.
Okay.
Hmm.
Let's see. I know.
Turning now.
I don't know how to feel about this because they're cartoon characters. I'm kidding. I
Right.
can answer this question. It's Rogue for me. Hands down. Always been that Southern drawl.
That was easy.
Yeah, that was pretty fast.
Yeah, I'm looking at my X-Men / Marvel collection of my pops right now, and once I saw her, I was like, oh yeah, I know the answer. Okay, done.
I mean, there's a couple in the X-Men that you could have chosen from.
Oh, easy.
But
yeah.
iconically, she's one of the ones that are up there.
I think
give
it
her
was
that.
the cartoon with her Southern drawl back in the 90s. It's like, okay, I'm cool with that.
Got me there. It's
I'm
either
good.
like her or Jean Grey.
Jean
Those are the
Grey,
first
yeah.
two that
Jean,
I
yeah,
think of
those
at least,
are-
and then
yeah.
third would be Storm as far as the X-Men goes.
Storm's a badass
Ooh.
too. Yeah,
What
All these
about
X-Men
Psylocke?
choices.
true. There's a
Ooh,
reason the
there you
X-Men are badass. You know.
go. Yeah.
Well, Ryan, what's your answer? You got to choose one.
That's easy for me. I would say, if you want her given name, her real name, Chloe Bennett, or who plays Daisy Johnson or Quake on Agents of Shield.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
By the way, I was looking through my the Funko app the other day, and that pops like $100 now.
Really?
Mhm.
I was super shocked. Yeah,
That's crazy.
And
it
the
wasn't
odd
like-
thing is, it was not a store exclusive. I remember when
Right.
it first came out, there were like loads of them on the shelf at Hot Topic, and
Mm.
I got two. One for a friend who ended up not wanting it, so I actually still have it here. And so I have considered maybe just letting it go. And to your point, I looked and I'm like, well, damn. Maybe I
Right.
can get more money out of it than I thought.
Yeah. Maybe not letting it go right.
because I was just scrolling through looking for something else. I don't even remember what. And I was like, oh my god, why is that there? But yeah,
Yeah,
wanted
between
to try it,
the three of them that released for Agents of Shield, there was Coulson, there was Agent May, and
Mhm.
Mm.
Quake. Yeah, she's
And
for some
Quake.
reason a lot higher. She's even rated higher than Lola, which is Coulson in the car.
Oh, the car.
With the car,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Go
Interesting.
figure. I don't know.
Yeah, right. I mean, the market's crazy. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
about
Yeah, it's true. It truly makes no sense because it's plastic toys. There's no rhyme or reason to why one piece costs $600 out of purely because of rarity versus another piece that is, which is maybe just equally rare but is worth a lot less.
Yeah,
But
it's funny because
that's
I have
another-
some that are like 1,500 that are like sitting at $50, and then there's some that are mass produced,
Mhm.
not store exclusive, that are much more expensive. So,
Mhm.
like you said, doesn't make any sense. Anyway, I know we're not
Mhm.
talking about Funko, but that just popped in my head. I was like, very surprised to see that. Maybe more people have a crush on her than I realized.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. All right, Dave, you're on the spot now.
Oh man, this is kind of hard because so I don't know if you guys can't see it in the recording, but I have a print of Okoye, the Nagorira
Mm-hmm.
from Black Panther. Big fan of her, but I'd have to say I really enjoy Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, and
Fabulous choice.
yeah, I've seen her in person, and man, it's like she's like not human.
Yeah, totally.
No,
I
I
agree.
agree.
I can see that.
Absolutely.
She's not that tall, right?
I think she is.
I don't know,
Is
she
she
is
tall?
tall.
I guess
Yeah, from
there's that Netflix commercial with her, Ryan Reynolds, and The Rock, and she looks so short there. I guess those guys are taller than I thought. Maybe that's what it is. Either way, very nice.
Like The Rock is a monster. Like,
Well,
you
yeah, he's a
can't- you
boulder. I
can't-
get it. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's super tall. And I don't know how tall Ryan Reynolds is. Fellow
Tall.
Canadian,
Well-
Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, you know what we could do? We could Google it.
I'm gonna Google Ryan
There it
Reynolds
is.
right now.
We had to get that in there at one
There's-
point.
Most people are tall compared to us, Clint. We'll be honest.
Well, that's true. I guess that's true, Ryan. Everyone's tall compared to us.
I think she's 5'10" or
yeah,
11.
she's tall.
Okay, I thought she was
Yeah.
shorter for some reason.
I was gonna say that too, Ryan. I was like, wait, I am kind of short, so maybe.
Ryan
I
Reynolds
mean-
is 6'1" and a bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Shows what I know.
That would be why
Yeah,
she
Gal
looks
Gadot's
short
5'10".
compared to him and The Rock. 'Cause
Right,
The Rock's
5'10".
about 6'1", 6'2" as well.
Yeah, Gal Gadot's 5'10".
Oh,
And
Lucky
The Rock
guess.
is 6'5".
6'5". I didn't know he was 6'5". Wow.
And he's built like a rock, literally.
He is he is just as tall as he is wide, honestly.
You push him, he just rolls.
He just rolls. Speaking of height, just completely off topic because that's what we do. One of my old bosses that I worked with, he's 6'11".
Oh my god.
Jeez.
He used to play pro ball. He used to play in Australia. He played in Europe for a bit. Yeah, he's a great dude. I miss working with him. But at some point, I've got some of the most epic Vegas stories to tell that involve him.
Wow.
But that's for a different podcast. But yeah, I'll save it for another podcast. It's good. Let's just say it's good times because he's people think he's an athlete, and that gets you access to a lot of things.
Take it. Yeah, right.
Quick question, and
Yeah.
I mean this out of with the most respect. How tall is Joey? Is he
He's-
taller than that?
He's like 6'6". Is that right?
Yeah, I think he's like
Oh,
6'6" or yeah, he's
Okay.
Joey's tall. Like you think like we joke about him being tall, but like when you see him, he's just like he's
He's
tall.
tall. Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
a tall man.
Yeah, there's a picture of
Yeah.
a bunch of us outside the Secondary Heroes panel from SDCC 2019. And
Uh-huh.
I mean, Sully's not a short guy. Joey clearly
No.
towers a lot over
Yeah,
Sully's
Sully.
6 foot. So yeah.
know?
It's,
Like he's the type like you have to like pull back in the camera. Like you have to like take 5 steps back to make sure he fits in the frame. For, like the average people, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got the wide variety of people in that picture. I mean, like the three of us are in there along with Joey, JD's in there, Julie's in there, MC's in there.
I think Alex is in there, and Alex is kind of tall too, right?
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
think,
that's true. Alex is
Florian.
in there too. Shout out to Secondary
for
Heroes.
some
in
reason,
that
I'm
respect.
crouching.
You
Julie
and I
are
both.
like,
We
crouching,
both.
like,
And Prague was doing the same
and
thing. We're
Prague.
kind of
It's
doing
like,
the lean.
why are we
in front.
crouching? We don't.
Yeah, why? Yeah,
Yeah.
people down
I
in
think I
front
see the
crouching
picture.
makes no sense.
We had to do the
Yeah.
sorority squat for some reason.
That's awesome. Jorge, back on topic now. Finally, who's your superhero crush?
So I have to confess, I think I interpreted this a little differently because the first name that came to mind was Captain America.
Hey, that's cool too.
He's
He's
a good-looking
America's
dude.
ass.
Yeah,
America's
man.
America's
ass.
ass, man. You can't. That's
I-
okay.
yeah,
Uh,
I touch it.
Yeah,
That's the title. I
yeah.
touch it.
I'm a
I touch it.
fan, so.
Or America's ass. I touch it.
Chris Evans is a good-looking dude. There's no doubt.
He
about
is.
it.
He's a great human being and a
Yeah.
very handsome man to boot.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And his dog. Have you seen his dog? His dog is
Yeah.
the best.
I have
Dodger
not
is
seen his
the
dog.
best.
His
Oh,
name's
my
Roger.
God.
His
Name's
Instagram
Dodger.
post-
Dodger.
Oh,
Excuse me. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, his dog's the best. I think he's got a picture of so I think they were filming Knives Out and he's wearing a sweater. Like his dog's wearing a sweater, the same sweater that he was wearing in the movie, which is just incredible. And,
Nice.
That's great. Yeah.
He's great.
It's funny that you can say that, and we all know. Oh, exactly know what you're talking about. Like no question.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Super iconic.
Huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a good question.
That is a good
Good
answer.
Good answer. That's a beautiful answer. I see it changes for me every so often, depending. Like I get on, like I watch some movies, and all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, okay, she's wonderful, and she's so because the last couple of days I've been cat sitting and just kind of sitting around and watching lots of Disney Plus, and I think I watched like 3 or 4 Marvel movies these past 2 days alone, and for this answer at this moment in time, I'd have to say Black Widow.
Yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with Scarlett.
Yeah,
Johansson.
she's
That's fair.
beautiful and she's a very talented actress. But just like I think the whole spy thing is the mystery about it. I think it adds to it for sure. So something that's just for me would be number one right now if I had to put someone on the top of that list.
Well, you do. So good job.
Well, there you go. Yeah. I'm surprised, Ryan, you didn't say Pepper. I thought you were gonna be like.
I'm not a big
just
Gwyneth
because-
Paltrow fan myself, so I can understand that.
No, it just depends on the way you interpret the question.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Steph, we want to
Question,
know yours.
Nate, have you seen Her, the movie Her?
No, I have not.
That's the one where she's
Okay.
just the voice, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all she needs. I'll say that. That's all she needs.
Fair enough.
Adding
I
that
have
to
no argument to that.
Adding to my list of things to watch this week.
Is it actually good? I don't know. I haven't seen it. Is the movie Her actually good? Okay, cool. It is. All
It
right.
is, yeah. good movie.
Okay.
It's you should watch it. You should watch it. Yeah.
Cool.
It's Joaquin Phoenix, right?
Correct.
Very talented actor. I like him a lot.
Not as good as
directed
Ryan
by Spike
Gosling, though, right?
Jonze. No, I was confusing him with. I thought it was Ryan Gosling initially because it was like he did another movie similar, like not similar, but like, where he's like in love with the doll, right? Like
Oh yeah, I've seen that one.
yeah, I heard that one's really good too.
Oh, Lars and the Real Girl.
I think that's what it's called.
right? I think so.
I think
Is
so.
that what it's called? I forget what it's called, but
I probably
it
actually have
intrigued
that
me when it was on
I've never
TV.
watched
I was like, "What is going on?"
Hold on, I'm gonna Google it. But it's Lars and the Real Girl.
Okay.
I googled Ryan Gosling doll movie, and it. Lars and the Real Girl came up.
That could be dangerous. I'm glad that
Yeah,
didn't result in
It's
anything
okay.
else.
Incognito. We're good. We're good.
Smart.
Thank you, Steph, for the question. Always interested in your answer as well. I think Clint's gonna
I'm gonna do that
rifle
right now.
through Twitter and do that
I'm
right
too
now.
busy listening to you guys instead of doing my duty. Anyway,
All good.
Please continue.
All good. Yeah. So please, Steph, please answer. We love it. We love these questions. Everyone else out there, please continue to ask us with the hashtag Ask the Dorksmen. As you can see, we try to answer your questions as quickly as you ask them, but it's hard because there's so many questions and only so many podcasts that we can record in a week.
one.
One, yeah,
Just one.
which is just one. But onto the topic of discussion for today, and why we brought these guys in today from the Average Nerd podcast is we all have a very shared love for the MCU and Marvel in general, going from comics to games to whatever, just basically everything in the Marvel universe. So with the launch of WandaVision and with other shows and stuff on the horizon, we just wanted to sit down and just chat about what we think the future holds. Maybe share some things that we like about what got us in the Marvel universe, or just everything Marvel basically. is what we wanted to talk about today. There's no real agenda. It's really just, free for all, basically, is how we do it. So let me just kick it off. Did anybody watch WandaVision yet?
I think we all have.
Yep.
I have not.
You have not. Okay.
I have not.
Well, luckily they're only 2 episodes in, and I'll start this discussion. I think I had my expectations wrong, to be completely honest with you, because I went in watching this, and the first 2 episodes, while fun, I will say that, because of course the first episode is of course the second one's Bewitched, but the first one's supposed to be like the Dick Van Dyke Show,
Mm-hmm.
and their houses are different, the sets are different, whatever. But that's kind of all they are. I expected to know more about what the hell's going on, because spoiler alert, if you guys aren't familiar with where the MCU is currently, of course they're in the year 2025 right now. Is that right? 2025, because of the snap and everything.
I know it's 5 years. I
Yeah.
don't know from when.
Either way, it's in the future. But if you don't know that, I mean, Vision died. Vision was killed, and as far as I know, he has not been brought back to life. So between that and not knowing anything else about how they got in this situation, I felt really, I don't want to say uncomfortable, just confused, maybe. And I don't think I expected to understand that more, and I haven't in those episodes. So that took away from them due to my own expectations. They're fitting in exactly what they're supposed to be fitting in the time frame, and the making fun of the movie or the show or the homage to whatever they're supposed to be giving homage to perfectly. It's just, I think my expectations were a little bit more like, why is this happening? Why are we in this situation?
Actually,
And I'm not
kinda
there.
have-
What's
kinda
that?
have a theory.
Go ahead. I'm
I was
sorry.
gonna say, sorry. I was just telling the guys in our group chat earlier. It's like, I know I should have started watching it the other day, but I couldn't because I'm waiting for my wife. But Clint was like, just watch it ahead and just tell her you didn't watch it yet. But I told him I'm okay with you guys spoiling it for me while we record today, because I'd rather have spoilers than deal with the wrath of the wife by not watching it with her. So I'm okay with spoilers. So if you guys want to go,
it might benefit you, because I think you can set your expectations appropriately when you do see it.
Well, here's the thing, though, Nate. This is where I'm gonna kind of chime in a little bit before Dave gives his theory. There's really not a lot to spoil, to be completely honest in that respect, because to Clint's point, it's a whole bunch of mishmash, kind of like wrapped in together, and there's really no continuity between the episodes, with the sole fact that there's like the same characters that you're gonna see. So how
Which
this is
is
going
fun.
to play into things for like future episodes, and how this is dynamically going to impact things like Falcon and Winter Soldier, and we know because of the sole fact that this is dealing with Wanda, and we've heard from Feige saying this is going to impact a multiverse of madness, because that's kind of like where this is leading. How this relates, we don't know yet. So there's really nothing to spoil, to be completely honest. It's not like they said, okay, Vision is alive because X.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I does this even current time, but Dave might have a theory. Let's hear what he has to say.
Yeah.
Oh. So I know, like, so Wanda's powers are kind of like bending reality kind of deal, right? So I was kind of thinking, because they never really dove into how she's been coping with Vision's death. So I kind of feel like the TV show is kind of in her mind, or she's kind of uncontrollably warped reality, so that whatever's happening in the TV show is kind of how she's dealing with his death in a way.
Yeah.
Kind of like her imagining how things would have been with Vision and everything. And I don't know. For me, like, as I was watching it, I had that in my mind, and I was kind of like thinking of movies like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and like people coping with breakups and everything.
Interesting.
So yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't spoil that. I don't know.
The movie's like 10 years old. You're fine.
Okay.
Yeah, you're fine.
So
how
yeah,
dare
that-
you?
that's
How
kind
dare
of
you.
That's a great call. That you know what? Just hearing that makes me appreciate it more, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, it could be the stages of grief. And also, Nate, this is not spoiling anything, because if you've even seen the trailer, you've seen this happen. So it goes from her being in a completely black and white world, and then there are things that start to appear as color. Now, we don't understand why. We don't understand the nature of what makes this object or these things significant in the whole scheme of everything. But I guarantee you, 5 episodes down the line, or say when Multiverse of Madness comes out, and then we rewatch this stuff, it's gonna make complete sense. Because truth be told,
yeah.
I've rewatched the Avengers several times, and I picked up on stuff. I'm like, how did I miss this? But it's like those deep Easter eggs that there's a whole bunch of theories that float around on YouTube, especially now. There's a lot of like blogs that'll be talking about this, and they're all thinking, okay, is this a possible Easter egg that's gonna come later? There's a lot of
absolutely.
different stuff.
There's a big Easter egg. Are we allowed to spoil a little bit?
Yes.
Nate
Yeah,
said
for
go
sure.
ahead.
That's
So
fine. Yeah, go
The
ahead.
biggest one is Sword.
Mhm.
You guys familiar with Sword?
Sentient world observation something. Forget.
Yeah.
Basically, there's
basically-
Shield, and then the next iteration of Shield is something
Is
that's
Sword.
floating in the sky. Sentient world observation, whatever. I don't remember the last.
Was it in Captain Marvel where they first, I guess, hinted at Sword? I think.
Mm-hmm.
I
When they were
forget.
in space.
Yeah.
Actually, no.
yeah.
It's not
forget.
Captain
I totally
Marvel. It's
forget.
at the end of the second Spider-Man, where
Oh, that's right.
Fury gets up out of
Yes,
the chair,
when
or,
Fury's
out of the bed, and he's walking around, and you can clearly tell he's on a deck, but he looks out, and
Right.
it's from space.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm so
that's-
glad we're doing this. I caught new things.
Yeah.
Yay!
And that's the real Fury. He's in space.
Mhm.
So that was the thought that it was the Skrulls that was
Mhm.
pretending to be Fury all along, getting orders from Furious, probably while on Earth, right? During the other movies.
Yeah, and it ties back to
Yeah.
the comment about I can't eat bread that's cut diagonally.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He says that,
Mm.
and this is him saying this in the early, I guess it would be 80s, when he first meets Brie Larson's character. And
Mhm.
if you look back on Age of Ultron, he's eating a sandwich that's cut diagonally.
Mm.
Dang.
I mean, you're
Holy.
talking to the right guy about this stuff, right? I'm an
Impressive.
analyst by trade.
Impressive.
I'm going to see these things.
That's impressive.
Yeah. That's really good.
Like how that's like
I'm-
that's crazy.
You know what I'm curious of is and I don't know if they're doing this for the sake of not spoiling how this show goes, how WandaVision goes, but
Right.
we know that Wanda's going to show up in the multiverse of Madness, right? Doctor Strange's movie.
Yep.
We know it's going to be Doctor Strange and Wanda, but they don't say that Vision's in that movie, nor the actor who plays him. And I wonder if they're just holding that back so that they don't spoil if he comes back or not, or maybe if she's in her imagination, he never comes back because it is just her imagination.
Mhm.
So I'm curious how that's going to turn out.
It could be her imagination. It could be multiverse, because obviously when they talk about things within the continuum of our timeline, or what Marvel fans commonly refer to as a 616, that's our normal continuum. The ancient one, when Banner goes back and talks to her in 2012 about getting the time stone from her, she's talking about her reality. So this could also play into an alternate reality, or it could be all within her mind. We don't know yet.
Wow. I heard there's
So
a comic
does-
book. Is there a comic book of this?
I think it's the Vision comic book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in comic book of this, yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Go on, Nate. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
So does Vision need the Mind Stone to exist? Like, because he died. Does he need the Mind Stone to be alive? Is
In-
my question.
Well, in theory, no, because in Infinity War, they were working on taking it out, and so he could still exist, right?
Yes.
So
In the comic books, there's a version of Vision. I forgot what he's called. I think it's like Ghost Vision, where he's black and white and he doesn't have the stone.
Ah.
Mm.
I don't know.
I kind of have a theory that when Shuri was because Shuri was working on
Mhm.
Vision, right? If I
Right.
remember correctly.
Mhm.
Yes.
I have a
Yep.
feeling that she did like a backup of Vision or something, so that
that would
they
be
could
smart.
rebuild him somehow.
I'd love to have him back. Yeah, I mean, he's
Yeah.
a fun
Yeah,
character.
same. Yeah.
He's
Because I was
made
just
of the
thinking, like,
metal from Wakanda, right?
yes, yeah, that was during. Yeah, she was working on
Build-
a safe way to remove the Mind Stone while they were battling, and she was very close
Mhm.
during that battle, but obviously it didn't go their way because he's no longer around. Yeah, that's interesting because like I do understand a lot of times movies and shows like to use the "it was a dream," kind of a trope for
Right.
stuff like this, but I have faith in the Marvel team that it's not going to be something cheap. Like it's not just going to be, haha, she was dreaming. They're alive and they're happy. You know, like this is like there's more. There's so much more to. There's going to be layers to why WandaVision is playing out as WandaVision is playing out. And
I 100% agree.
Yeah, and it's going to be one of those things that we're going to have to honestly, truly wait until the movie comes out, and then we're going to have to wait and see. And even then, it's like maybe it'll just be kind of the start of the tip of the iceberg of like, you know, the next phase of all the stuff that's happening, and then, you know, it could be years before we find out truly what happened, right?
But I want instant gratification.
Yeah, it doesn't
It's
work
true.
that way.
Me too. Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Stop being a millennial. Stop it.
You guys remember that part?
What's that?
Who was when someone was talking through the radio?
Yes.
Oh, who's doing this to you?
Yeah, who's doing this to you, Wanda? Either she's asleep and hearing that, or like you said, I mean, there's a bigger story there of they're trying to figure out maybe she's trapped in a TV, because there's that scene we see where someone is watching her on an older TV, and that person has a sword notepad. He's writing on a notepad that had the sword logo.
Oh, I missed that. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of hidden Easter eggs in there. Like if you really dive deep and you start to understand the significance of like one item to another, there's a lot of hidden stuff.
I'm glad we're having this discussion.
I'm
Just
super
for my
glad
own
we're
sake.
having this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like, because like my first watch will probably be tonight, and I'm gonna have to like actually put my phone down and sit and actually pay attention.
Yeah,
to
you
the
really
show.
should. This is one of those shows
Yeah,
where
yeah.
it's not one where it's going to be conducive for you to like try to be watching it while doing something else. If the goal is to catch all of the different hidden Easter eggs, which probably hard to catch them all. Pokemon joke.
Good one.
It's gonna be a while before we understand a lot of stuff. I mean, let's be real here. Even with Marvel in general, they bury Easter eggs in a lot of things. Like in Guardians, the original Guardians, James Gunn buried the thoughts of Galactus way down, and nobody ever saw it. And even this is even before Marvel knew that they would be able to have Fox properties under their belt. So they're good about this stuff, and they're not gonna take the easy way out and say like, "Oh, this is a dream sequence," or "This is we're gonna use time travel as a result." I mean, granted, yes, Endgame did use time travel, but it wasn't the traditional route of going back and fixing everything, right?
And you could tell they didn't want to do that again.
Yeah, and if that was the case, if they really went back and fixed everything, you wouldn't have the ending that you had where Tony had to die. Oh, let's just go back and we'll grab Natasha from a previous time. It doesn't work like that.
Right. Right. Which I think is cool, because in the Marvel universe, like there's consequence, right? So there's actual progression through. It's like she had to be sacrificed for this to work, or you know, there's gonna. I mean, we'll see what happens in Black Widow, because I love that character, and not just because she's my superhero crush right now that I wish she survives and has like many more movies, but it's just it would be cool if they could work it into a way where it makes sense in the time.
And I wouldn't be shocked if they do. Well, Black Widow's in the past, right?
Yes,
I believe so. Yeah.
I mean, it has to be, right? Because she's dead.
Right.
So, but I'm with you. I wouldn't be shocked if something that happens in that story comes to light now because of that. So you guys are all right. Like have faith in Marvel, because they haven't let us astray yet. You know what I mean? They've had 10 years to do it and they haven't. So I think again, the WandaVision stuff by itself has just been enlightening.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
No, we run this podcast. We'll do even your podcast. No, of course.
Sorry. May I ask you guys a question?
Oh, in that case, yes.
Okay. What are you guys what are you most looking forward to out of Phase 4? All the stuff that's planned, that's coming out between the shows, movies. What are you guys excited for?
Such a loaded question, Jorge.
You know,
do we have like another 4 hours to talk about this?
I'm
looking forward to learning more, and I say that because when I, like the first part of the first few phases, we all know who Thor is, we all know who Captain America is, we all know who even Iron Man to an extent, we all know who it is. It was fun to learn more about him. We all know Spider-Man is, we all know that, but I don't know a lot like Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is I've never read any comic book with Doctor Strange in it, so I'm interested to see more of what he's about. Same thing with Wanda. I know, I wonder I'm interested to learn more about some of these characters. Moon Knight, I know nothing about. The fact that he's getting a show is pretty sweet. Like to learn more about that. Same thing with She-Hulk. I always thought the female versions of male superheroes was a cop out, in a sense that like you don't, I understand you want to be fair and equal, but make them badasses on their own. Don't make them the same thing. But I think they have a reason for that, and I'm interested to learn how this all works out. You know what I mean? So for me, it's just learning more about some of the stuff I didn't know, because I feel like the extent of my Marvel knowledge has already been passed. So Phase 4, while unknown, is exciting because it'll learn more and really be fun to see how it all links together.
Cool.
So that's my answer.
Yeah, great answer.
I'm
But
gonna wait to
I'd
go
be curious.
last because I have a lot to say.
You're gonna have a lot to say. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I have a quick answer, or I think it's fairly quick. I think what I'm looking forward to most is a lot of people believe, and I don't know if this has been put on paper, that Disney is now taking Marvel into a never-ending cycle from here on out. They're going to continue expanding their storytelling, and we're now reaching a point where from here until as far as we can see, we're going to keep getting an expanded universe, which is what I'm looking forward to. I'm excited, like you said, to either learn more about characters I've never heard of, or just see how big can this massive industry really take this. It's exciting. It's exciting.
Like, Avengers was such an ambitious project at the time, and still is today. Especially with Infinity War and Endgame was just so insane. Thinking about it now, I mean, each one of those characters had their own set of movies, at least. Even Hulk, surprisingly, and the fact that they can keep them going is I mean, that's what comic books do, right? So why not?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. They could totally do it. Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
So, like, yeah, this question it's a tough question, but it's also a good one. And I think for me, when I was going through, and at some point, I know that Ryan can relate to this, because like when you see Infinity War, when you see Endgame, when you see the whole timeline and like just how everything played out, it was one of those things where it was just, there was a moment for me that I was just like, damn, it's over. Like, this is going to be the end of the Marvel that I grew up on and knew about, and the universe that I love so much. But as we got through Infinity War, we got through Endgame, and then I'm seeing all these other things. It's like, oh hell no, this is literally just the beginning. Like, there's so much more. And for me, I think to hang on to the, I guess you could call it Phase 1 stuff. I don't know if you could call it Phase 1, but that's what I'm going to call it. Like the first 3 chunks all together. I'm looking forward to seeing who takes the Captain America mantle. Like, I know that it's going to be Falcon at some point, but I would still love to see Bucky get his due, and Bucky get his time, as the star, and then fully doing the passover to Falcon. But that's just something that it will develop in the Falcon Winter Soldier storyline, I'm sure. That's just something that I'm looking forward to the most out of all the stuff. But on top of that, I think like Secret Invasion, like I don't know much about that other than like that's going to be like, I love those types of movies where it's just like we briefly talked about, where we thought it was Nick Fury, but it really was it Nick Fury the whole time? Like little things like that, where it's just the twists and the turns and those Easter eggs and those kind of truly mind-blowing moments that they can slip into. Like, I would say, like, honestly, like the movie, you take all the movies and all the shows, the entire Marvel universe, and it's like a dictionary worth of stuff. But there's one word or one sentence that is an Easter egg that changes your entire 3/4 of everything you know before it, that you've read and studied, and like it makes you go back and you have to find more, and it's just like you go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. So like, of all the things, I think that too is just something I really look forward to, is just seeing how all these little things play out and how all these little things impact this massive world that they're building, which is incredible.
Well said.
Yeah.
I guess for me, I am most excited about the introduction of more mutants.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
absolutely.
already have Wanda, and we've met Quicksilver, but yeah, I'm excited about Deadpool. Yeah.
Excited they
And
no longer have to call them miracles, right?
but yeah, another thing about Deadpool I'm excited about is he just has a wider, I guess, range of ammo that he could take from the MCU now for making jokes and everything. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
totally.
so I'm excited about that. But mostly mutants and how they handle
Yes.
that whole thing.
God, I mean, I'm a big X-Men. Well, I shouldn't say. I'm an X-Men fan, and I even like the shitty movies. I'll put them. Like X2 obviously was awesome, but I even like the new set. Just because of the storytelling and everything else with it. Like, I'm not saying they're great or they're Academy Award winning or I'll watch them, every day, but I still like them. I actually own them all on Blu-ray. But I'm really excited to see the MCU take on X-Men. It's going to be great. I'm with you 100%. Good call. Good call.
Ryan.
Yeah, and like I said, they're no longer called miracles. They can use the
You
word.
can actually
mutants
call
now.
them. They can use
Yeah,
the word.
you can use
That's
the word
the-
mutant.
yeah.
So I'll kind of touch base on a bunch of the things that you guys have said. I like what Jorge mentioned about this quote unquote never ending story. And I think that's actually the best way for us to title this episode. So I noted that down as well. I didn't look at it in that respect. So I like your perspective on that, Jorge. I like the fact that, as we've spoken about previously on another episode, Disney as a whole is really good at storytelling. It doesn't matter what age bracket you fall into. It doesn't matter your demographic, whether you're 5 years old or 50. And we'll use this in context when talking about like Cinderella, Star Wars, etc. They're gonna give a good story for their audience. So when it comes to Marvel and all the money they invested in this property that they now own and control, they are going to give us great stories for many, many, many years to come. There's a reason why they're doing this part of the California Adventure dedicated to Marvel. It's that much of a footprint on their company now. And to Dave's point with the mutants, the fact that they're now saying, like, in theory, because of the quote unquote gamma radiation that was emitted from said stone, maybe that's the way that it was able to unlock these powers in the Maximoff, right? Because it's radiation. What does that amount to? Mutation.
Right.
So with the snap that was able to bring everybody back, that could possibly be the catalyst and the trigger to unlock mutations in all these people around the world and be that link to
Interesting.
the birth of the X-Men, unlocking that X gene that was already predetermined to be there, and that could also be a link to, like, say, the Skrulls, right? Maybe that's part of the mutation. Maybe you're part Skrull, and that could also tie back to Agents of Shield and the Kree and all of this stuff. But lots of obviously theories that we could dive into and spend 5 or 6 hours talking about this. But if I had to pick like one specific property that I'm most excited for Disney to take on, it would be the Fantastic Four. And we know it's going to be a
Glad you
thing.
said
They've already
that.
announced it, and
Yep.
I want to see a proper Doctor Doom.
Yes.
Yes.
No
Do you have
argument
a fan casting for Doctor Doom? Sorry, I know that's on the spot. Didn't mean to put you on the spot.
I don't
but Is
know.
there someone you can imagine playing
I
Doctor
don't know. To be honest, because like for Mr. Fantastic, I think the number one hands down choice around the world for the fans is Krasinski.
Doom?
People
yeah.
really want him to be Mr. Fantastic, but
Yeah.
for Doom, I don't know. That's a really tough
I
one.
got to give the MCU credit. They've done some excellent casting, and it's stuff. I like that not every major role has to be a celebrity necessarily.
True.
And I'm
That's
thinking,
true.
I'm thinking like Wanda specifically. Like, I didn't even know there was another Olsen sister until she came out with that. I don't know if she was in anything else before. I'm sure she was. I'm sure she has a great career. But they had Wanda, or had Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda as Scarlet Witch, which I thought again has worked out really well in the WandaVision show. Like Robert Downey Jr. Well, it's obviously a great choice. I mean, he was born to play Iron Man. I'm sure Ryan agrees with me.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would have assumed that. Why can't I think of Banner, the actor Mark Ruffalo's Banner? I would have never put those two together in my head. You know what I mean?
But when you see it, it works, right?
It works wonderfully.
when
Yes,
you see it, it works.
and that's my point. Is they've casted a lot of characters very well. And I mean, it's nicer to have the big names like, Scarlett Johansson. I mean, that'd be my, and I'm not even going to call it questionable, but that'd be the most questionable one I have because that was more of a name. You know what I mean? Like there probably could have been a better one, even though she's been great. But I think they do some really cool casting, and I don't think they'll necessarily go for a big star in all the roles all the time. But I know that helps too. But I have full faith in their casting and full faith in what they'll do versus what people want them to do.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yep. Your point.
I mean, yeah, Jessica Alba was great in Invisible Woman, but she's not Invisible Woman.
Yeah, she's
No.
not. Your point though about the casting. Look at who they casted for Ms. Marvel. It's a completely unknown. This is going to be her first role in anything cinematic related, and I think that's great.
That is too.
Yeah. I'm excited for that. Yeah.
I think a lot of these, a lot of the actors that they choose, they definitely, it's not so much, it's partially the look for sure, because, the characters kind of have to fit a look, but also I think it's what kind of passion and what they can bring to make that character come to life.
Totally.
And which is what I think they've nailed. They've truly nailed every single casting that I've seen. I can't say that I'm not happy with any of the castings in the entire MCU that I've seen at this point, honestly.
Excellent point. Yeah,
I
that's true.
100% agree.
It's the ability to make that character stand out and be believable as a standalone person. Because I mean, RDJ.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean,
Yeah.
Look at everything that he's been through in his life, and it kind of exemplifies the fact that he was a perfect person to play somebody like Tony Stark, who has all these character flaws. And we've talked about that before. But fast forwarding to like Chris Evans, Captain America, and you look at you look at him and you're like, okay, that's Captain America. It's not just the way that he looks, but the way that he acts, and what he brings to the table as a person outside the role.
You know who I might actually say is their best casting choice? I might even say Batista as Drax might be their best.
Yeah, brilliant.
It just worked out so well. And who knew Batista could act? I didn't.
Right.
I mean, I've seen him wrestle.
He was a wrestler. He can act.
Yeah, wrestling acting isn't acting. Let's be clear on that.
Yeah, cutting promos isn't necessarily acting.
Yeah. There's a reason Hulk Hogan's movie career never happened. Like he was in like 3 things, and nobody could tolerate him after that.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at The Rock, though,
The Rock is great.
Right.
Yes,
The Rock is
not the
absolutely
rule,
an
though.
actor.
Jesse the Body Ventura is another argument, that he was never a great actor. But I mean, John Cena is another one. It goes both ways. My point is, though, that he was an excellent choice that I would have never even thought of as playing that character. So, and Chris Evans, I mean, before that, the only thing I ever knew he was in was Not Another Teen Movie, where he had whipped cream on his nipples. So why they put that connection? What's that?
He had a redemption from Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Right. See, that movie was
Torch,
totally different, and they went ahead and did that. Same thing with what's his face? Michael Jordan. Michael B. Jordan.
Michael
Same
B. Jordan,
thing. His second chance turned out to be so much better than that. So even though I did like the casting for Suzanne Storm and the last Fantastic Four, but that's another discussion.
They did a good job with that one.
But yes. So I hope they do. I like that they do that, though. And the only thing about Krasinski that bothers me a little bit is at times I feel he's overhyped. But I've never seen the action show he's in. I want to say John Wick. Thank you, Jack Ryan. I've never seen that. To me, he's Jim. And I don't know if I want Jim leading the Fantastic Four.
I think that's where it benefits me.
He's quite good in.
I'm not a fan of The
no
Office. I haven't really watched any episodes, so I don't have that. I would say bias in this case.
Sure. And I mean, and this is unfair to him, but I mean, I'm typecasting him. You know what I mean? But apparently he is an action star too. So what do I know? But again, I trust them to make the right decision because they haven't failed.
We
yet.
have to. We have to. We have no choice, really.
Right.
And
that might be
and
true,
don't be one of those people that are on Twitter arguing and and being like, I'm not going to watch this because you're right. And I know none of us are like that.
No.
We're free to share our opinions, and we do, but we're not like that with those people.
So real quick, I do want to say one thing about casting about the future, and I hope to God they do this right. Wolverine.
Yes.
Hear me out. Hugh Jackman was great Wolverine.
He was.
For what they did. But now they have the chance to make, and I'm going to say this in quotes, the real Wolverine. Because the real Wolverine in the comic books isn't 6 feet tall. He's 5'3".
Yeah.
Let's make him 5'3",
for the short people.
300 pound. Let's get this big bulky guy to be him. I think, and I think they could. He doesn't have to be Australian. I don't know where that stereotype even came from, but I know it's
Canadian.
Right.
Yeah.
He's been Australian like the TV shows and stuff, and it's like, why? But
Canadian.
But right, and they have a chance to really do that right. And I mean,
Right.
Wolverine might be a role that getting somebody unknown would be perfect for, because he's gonna be, he's gonna, let's face it, same as Hugh Jackman, he's gonna be typecast as Wolverine for the rest of his life. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I hope they do that kind of thing, because I mean, they've done such a good job relating these characters back to the comic books, from what I understand. I just hope they don't fuck that one up, because I would love to see a 5'3" Wolverine.
They
I'd love
won't.
to see a 5'8" Nightcrawler. You know what I mean?
They won't. They won't screw it up. We know. We trust Disney.
Yeah.
The fact
Good.
of the matter is, MCU was started initially as kind of like a standalone. Paramount had their, their distribution, and then Disney's now taken over. So if we look back to the very beginnings and the fact that Favreau fought hard to have somebody like RDJ as Tony Stark, we know that the brass over at Marvel, who's still there, right? Feige is still at the head of that. He will do this right.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's not even a question in my
Absolutely.
mind. There's not a shred of doubt in my mind that they're not going to do it correctly.
No, but it's no. I'm with you, and I think we're all on the same page. But we're also, well, especially you guys more than me, are so much more passionate about it that we don't want to see it screwed up. So of course we're gonna have thoughts on it. But you're right. It's more the facing the unknown kind of thing, just like WandaVision. I want instant gratification now.
Yeah.
So, but I think you're right. I think I have faith. I have all the faith in the world. Unlike the DC, unlike Warner Brothers in the DCU or
Right.
DC, whatever you want to call it, I have all the faith in the MCU.
That was a really
I
good
think-
question, Jorge, by the way.
Yeah,
Say
I like
that.
that question.
That's
a
why
really
we
good
wanted
question.
you on here, Jorge. That and the
Yeah.
yellow beanie, but
Oh.
that first.
Asking the hard hitting questions. That
So
makes us think.
I know we're coming. We can go talk for a while, of course, but I'm curious. Before we get through this, I'm curious if you guys have a favorite MCU movie or even television show at this point. And
It's
by
a
the
very
way,
loaded question.
I
as well.
understand that, and I it's like everything. It's just what's on your head right now. You can obviously change. I will not say you told me this, you liar. We can't be friends anymore. It's more. I'm curious if you have a favorite.
I actually have mine too.
What's yours? I love to hear, Dave.
I forget where I mentioned this, but then I feel like I talked about this recently too. But I didn't really know much about Thor. Didn't read his comic books.
Mhm.
Wasn't didn't watch I still haven't watched the first movie.
Oh,
And then I didn't really like the second movie, so I
Mm.
had a bad impression about Thor already.
Sure.
But Ragnarok, oh my gosh, that movie
Ragnarok
I
was
think is like my favorite MCU movie. Yeah, Taika Waititi did such a good job.
He did an incredible job. Yeah.
I've never heard anybody say anything bad about that movie.
Yeah.
It's a great choice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How about you, Jorge?
For me, it would have to be, I think, Winter Soldier.
I knew you were gonna pick that.
Ooh,
I
Yeah.
like it. I like it. It's a great choice.
That is a excellent movie, and that was our first glance into Black Panther.
Mhm.
Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. But yeah,
Wait, no, Chadwick.
Wait, that
was
one's
it?
Civil War.
Civil
Yeah.
War. Yeah, Civil
Civil
War.
War. Yeah.
He's in
Yeah.
Civil War.
So the first one,
Sorry,
the one you're
I get
thinking of though, is still great. It's the first of Winter Soldier, obviously.
Yeah.
yeah,
To
I
me.
get those mixed up because that leads into Civil War.
Sure. Yeah, it's a big part of that
My
movie.
choice is still Winter Soldier. So yeah.
But yeah, I you know what's great about that movie, and so I don't remember who described it to me. It might have been one of you guys. I apologize if it is, but it's a great like spy movie.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
not even necessarily, it doesn't have to be a superhero movie or a
Yeah.
Marvel movie. It's just a great spy movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Good choice.
It's a very
That
good
was the one
choice.
that affected Agents of Shield too, right?
Yes, because that's
Yes.
that's where Hydra. Yeah, for
It took
sure,
place
right?
at the exact
Yeah.
same time, so they actually had a crossover where it led from 1 week of Agents of Shield. The movie was released that Thursday or Friday, and it played
Mhm.
directly into the events that happened in Winter.
Mhm.
Yeah, I really like that twist in the show at that point.
Mhm. Mhm.
How about you, Clint? I'll let you answer first.
Sure. I'm think first of all, I'm with you guys. It's hard to pin one down, and I'm sure this would change. In fact, my answer changed right now while I'm thinking about it. Guardians of the Galaxy was my initial answer, and I loved it because this was like the first one where I knew nothing
Mm.
about the characters going in.
Right.
And I thought it was just so well put together. I love, like I said, the casting. Obviously, Gamora was great. Even even Vin Diesel as Groot is awesome. You know what I mean? So the
Yeah.
casting was great. But I had to think about this again. My favorite of all time is Ant-Man.
Mm.
Partially because I think Paul Rudd is fantastic, and that's another one I would have never thought to be a Marvel superhero would be Paul Rudd.
Yeah,
Right,
actually,
yes.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd crossed my mind when we had that discussion. Too.
But he's perfect in that role. He's
Yes.
just wonderful in it, and it's a funny movie. It's action.
It's got everything. Yeah.
It does. It has every, and I think maybe I'm always one that roots for the underdog in a sense. And I think that one kind of was an underdog in a sense. That another one I didn't know anything. I mean, the only thing I knew about Ant-Man was the spelling. I didn't know anything about it, so it was really cool to see him. And again, Paul Rudd just nailed the character, and everything about it just worked so well. I can't wait. In fact, I'm gonna be on the Three Beers and a Mic talking about that one because they're actually doing a Marvel rewatch and then do it in chronological order and then reviewing it each episode. So I'm excited to join them for that.
And Paul Rudd could very easily be a superhero crush as well. He's a very handsome
dude,
man.
especially since the dude doesn't age.
Yep.
He doesn't. No, he doesn't. Not at all.
He's a white guy who doesn't age. I got to make sure to clarify that because, of course, somebody knows you no matter what. I saw something. There was a guy. Speaking of this, there was a guy. I think he turned 100 and he celebrated at 24-hour fitness. I'm like, that dude's not 100. He's like 40.
Yeah.
So you guys got
Benjamin Button.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. Either way, good for him. Anyway,
Nate,
how about one of you guys?
how about you?
Yeah, see, like every movie you guys have mentioned, I could easily be like at some point been like, man, that is my favorite movie out of this entire sequence, and I could sit and watch any of these movies again. But I'm glad we agree that the second Thor movie was garbage.
I don't hate it. It's just there's so many better.
Yeah,
it's true. It is true. Yeah, there's a lot. There's better movies. I think it's gonna be very cliche, but I think it's got to be Endgame.
I don't think that's cliche at all.
The fact that it all came together, and there's so much happening. There's so much yet to happen, but it was such a great way to cap off, honestly, 10 years of just magnificent movies. And that's just one I could throw on any time, and I would just get lost in it again over and over and over again.
Oh God, that end scene just
I mean, still get chills every time.
Right.
Time. Like the first, like when Cap picks up the hammer, it's just like I just want to just jump out of my chair and just be so excited. And then on your left, it just gets chills.
Yeah.
Yes.
Every time.
Funny, that's come up on Twitter, and I have like stopped like in the middle of working to watch that scene. Like I'm like, hold on. I know there's an emergency, but I gotta watch this now that it's here. I can totally relate. Before Ryan answers, I actually want to give a shout out to Infinity War.
Yes,
because
also wonderful.
There's not many movies out there that people like where the bad guy wins.
Yes,
this is one of them. Like it's so well put together in the sense that it brought everybody together to this one thing, and they still in the end didn't win, but it's still good. You know, like, and that might be why some people don't even say it's their favorite, but it is so well done, the whole thing, even though the outcome wasn't what people wanted.
Yeah, because not everybody views Thanos as the antagonist, to be completely honest in that respect.
I believe that.
He's somebody that's just extremely passionate about his view of the universe, and I will say not world, but universe. And he's doing everything that he can in his power to do what he thinks is right. So if you look at it in respect to like Tony's character, he's doing everything that he can to protect his world, right? Pepper. And they're almost like one and the same person. There's a lot of different perspectives you can view that in. My answer in this is actually going to be Winter. I've said this many times before. Winter Soldier, when it came out, it was so unlike any superhero movie that had come out. And like Clint mentioned, you could take it out of being a superhero film and like, drop James Bond in the middle of it and probably would work as an espionage type film. And it really gave birth to a lot of what was to come, and the fact that was the Russo's first stab in the MCU, and look at all the magnificent stuff they did for us, right? They gave us that, they gave us Civil War, they gave us Infinity War, and finally Endgame. So the storylines that they crafted for us in conjunction with Feige really molded what we know as them.
Agreed. Yeah,
that's awesome.
100%.
I don't think there's honestly a bad answer. Even if you decide that Thor was the second Thor movie was your favorite, that's okay.
You'll get teased for it, but
we'll tease you for it. But everyone has their reasons. And
Ryan, have we ever asked you which Iron Man's your favorite?
The first.
Okay, I figured, but I was just curious if you had another. I knew. Never mind. Okay, great.
I would think as I would actually be curious to know if there's any like really hardcore Iron Man fans. Maybe not as much as I am, but like if Iron Man is like your favorite character in the MCU, which of the three is your favorite?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not just saying it because it gave birth to everything that we have now, but actually seeing Iron Man as a real person versus just in a comic book or a
Mhm.
cartoon, and actually seeing somebody like RDJ portray the role, it's just like, oh damn, this is what I've been waiting for since I was a child to see this happen. You know?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, the first one I think is I think the first one's the better of the three.
Mhm.
The
Even though-
storyline
yeah.
alone, like if you look at it, it's important to mention like Iron Man 2, yeah, I know it's probably the least favorite for people, but Iron Man 3 was a real like character building movie. A lot of people didn't like it because there wasn't enough action. It wasn't about that. It was about the fact that Tony was growing as a person, understanding like that it wasn't just about him. And then that goes forward into all the other movies. And finally with like the Spider-Man,
Oh.
right? Where he realizes
Totally.
it's about legacy. That ties back to Iron Man 2, which is an important line well and everything. It's about legacy, about what we leave behind.
I love one thing I love about the MCU. There's like three trilogies. I guess there's three so far. There's Iron Man, there's Thor, and there's Captain America.
Hmm.
The first one of Iron Man is said to be the best of the three. The second one of Captain America is said to be the better of the three, and the third one for Thor is said to be the better of the three. So it goes to show you, it's not just the first one's not always the best one, and that it just depends. And I kind of like that that's the case. So that's kind of
Right.
fun.
There's importance for the continuity of everything in each of the films, no matter where you're looking at
Oh,
it. Though.
totally. Well, I mean, there's a reason I own every MCU film. I mean, I'll watch probably Ant-Man or Guardians more than I would watch Iron Man 3, for example. But that doesn't mean I don't like it. That doesn't mean I don't want to watch it. In fact, I would love to have the time to sit down and watch them all order and get them through again. But
I thought you owned
Why
all
can't
of
they-
them because you're a hoarder.
I'm also that. I mean, that's fair. That's absolutely
Aren't we
fair.
all highest hoarder?
I know
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
like
that's
that's
true.
me. That's me calling the kettle black, right?
Yes, but you're still right. But you're still right. But still, I mean, that'd be cool to actually sit down and be able to watch them all again. I wish I just had more time, but someday. That's why I bought them on a physical media. I can watch again.
Do you guys ever is there any movie in the MCU that you wish you could watch again for the first time? Like there's always like moments in each movie that's just like, I could go back and watch like Clint was saying, like I could watch that Captain America scene in Endgame like 100 times. I'll never get tired of it. But is there any movie that you're like, I wish I could erase this from memory and experience it all over again just for the first time?
One word.
Infinity War.
I was leaning Infinity War too.
Guardians.
Infinity War.
Guardians, yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. How about you, Dave?
Winter Soldier? Soldier?
Winter Soldier, yeah.
Winter Soldier, yeah.
I should have said that. Yeah, you're right.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
I'm
You know what? I'm
choosing
gonna surprise you a
Guardians.
little bit.
What?
I
Yeah.
actually wouldn't mind having the Incredible Hulk to watch again now. You know what I mean? Because it's technically part of the MCU despite the casting change. So it'd be interesting not to know anything and go back and watch it again just to see how it stacks up and to see more of his story.
Mhm.
Was Abomination in that movie?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Abomination, the actor who played Abomination, is also making a reprise in a She-Hulk.
Ooh.
Excellent. I
I
like
was just
that.
about to say that
I admit even
Abomination
more.
is not defunct from the MCU. We're gonna still hear from him.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Good. That's a good thing.
That's a really good thing. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I absolutely agree. To answer my own question, honestly, I would say the one that comes to mind for me would be Iron Man 1. Because I remember the first time watching that and seeing all these other superhero movies, because at that point all we got was like Batman and like a lot of DC movies and like those types of superhero movies and like the really some not great X-Men movies and things like that. And then knowing a bit about the Tony Stark character, reading the comics growing up, and seeing him on the big screen for the first time and seeing that progression, seeing the suit for the first time was just it blew my mind that like this is awesome. Like I was just in complete awe, and I was so excited. So yeah, that'd be for me would be one that if I could watch it again for the first time, I think I would choose that.
I have no argument to that
I
answer.
approve, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, the MCU.
There's so much. Like we honestly could sit here and talk like hours and hours about this stuff, which is
Easy.
very easily do this.
Mhm.
In fact, we should have you two on again to do this later on when a few more things come out and we get to, see some movies actually, or see a couple more TV shows, because
Yeah,
Totally
I'm
down.
down.
I'd love to talk about it more because this is fun.
Yeah,
This
I
is
love
awesome.
just makes me sad.
Jorge's
I don't wanna watch it again.
perspective on like that's something that I didn't even think of when he posed the question to us. I was being typical me, very granular as far as my view of everything. But when you look at things on a global scale, I'm like, that's actually a really good point. And that's what I appreciate about having the both of you on today is like you're giving even like me as a really hardcore Marvel fan a different perspective on my view of the overall story arc from start to finish, or what's
Can we-
to finish.
I'm gonna start calling your yellow beanie your thinking cap.
Oh,
There you go.
good one. I
That's
like that.
awesome. I like that. I like that.
But yeah, serious, and same thing about the WandaVision perspective and just all of it. It's it's like you guys should be on a podcast.
I know, right? Maybe we should.
You guys should
Yeah,
have
maybe
a
you guys
couple friends,
should,
get them
yeah.
together, especially ones that are just as crazy and fun as you guys, and start one.
Yeah.
Great idea, Clint. I like it.
Well, like I'm probably not the first one to think of it, but I just encourage it.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of other podcasts, since you guys are on another podcast, tell us about what you guys are up to, and let everyone listening know more about you guys if they haven't started listening to you guys yet. What are you guys all about? Put you on the spot again.
Dave?
Oh, you could go, Jorge.
So we're just 5 friends who we used to like hanging out, and then honestly, the pandemic kind of brought us up somewhat of an opportunity for us to do something that we've talked about doing for a long time,
Mhm.
and just worked out great as far as starting a podcast and getting together and just hanging out with friends. Since we couldn't hang out in person, hanging out start a podcast, talking was the next best thing. And it's been a fun ride so far. I can't even believe we're going on like 22 episodes, 23 episodes
Nice.
now.
Nice, well done.
And streaming on Twitch, the Average Nerd podcast on Twitch. That's been fun too, which we took after, you guys and some of the other podcasts, our friends who've been doing it, and Sully. And I'm glad that, we made that decision, because that's been really fun to do, to interact with people. It's one thing when you have like the podcast and you can send it out there, but when you can get a response live and actually interact with people, that's, totally different. So it's been fun.
Totally. And it's almost required nowadays versus a podcast, because I think podcast listening's down while the interaction on Twitch is up. And you guys have done a fun job with that. I mean, just last night you had your game show, which is awesome. Or not last night, sorry, Friday night. Which is awesome. You guys do so many different things. I know you do some charity streams. Just watching you guys interact is fun. I had a blast watching you guys interact for Ab's store in the 2nd anniversary of Beehive. You guys were wild, and it was fun to watch. I mean, what I love about your podcast is you guys have fun together. Like it's obvious. Like nobody's forcing anything. You don't even, sometimes, like you said, some weeks you don't even have an agenda. You're just having fun, and you guys laugh, and it's fucking contagious, and I love it. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
And I've gotten to know, like I've known you and I've known Dave for a little bit, but I know very little about Juan and Dave, and I've learned that I want to hang out with those guys too, because they're a lot of fun to hang out. And I said,
I think you meant
sorry,
Jay
Juan
in
and
second,
Jay.
but
I
yeah,
did.
Yeah.
I'm reading while I'm talking, and I gotta stop doing that. But they're so much fun. I love what you guys are doing. I hope you guys keep it up. So again, Jorge said the Average Nerd podcast, all spelled out, one word, on Twitch, and of course the Average Nerd podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure you guys are checking them out.
And if you're not, what is wrong with you? These guys are
well. I know I've apologized a million times to all of our friends at podcasts. I have been horrible ever since we haven't been commuting to work or going to work, et cetera, listening to podcasts. And I hope to rectify that when that all changes. So it's not for lack of not loving you guys. It's for lack of. I'll just say lack, because there's no way to fill that word. But I'm glad you guys are sticking with it and digging the live stream. So well done. Keep it up.
No, definitely like what Jorge said. You guys really helped encourage us into live streaming too, just because I mean we set up the whole, was it Nerds Unite.
Mhm.
The whole summer
The network.
Oh, the
during
virtual
SDCC
con thing,
the
yeah.
network.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
thing. Yeah, and our original plan wasn't even to stream. It was only to do like podcast episodes. But then when you guys like asked us to start like do some streams during that weekend, I think that opened up a lot more doors for us, and
Oh yeah.
we're really like having fun with it.
Well, you
So
guys are good at it too. Give yourself credit. It's
Yeah.
there's some people out there, podcast and streaming, that you just can't watch. You're just like, okay, you're not interacting, you're boring, you're in the zone of your game, fine, but you guys are not that. You guys are in there, out there, and I love it. So please keep it up.
I also want to add, I mean, I have to give credit there. We did turn to Ryan also for like a
Mhm.
lot of help getting started. He um had a huge hand in us like getting taken off the ground. So many thanks for that, Ryan.
Yes.
I know we've thanked you a lot before, but like seriously, we owe you a lot because that helped us get started in many regards.
Why do you think we won't give him up?
Right.
Yeah, hang on to him for sure.
No, we
Yeah.
will. Don't you
Well,
worry.
we will. Yeah, we're. Yeah.
In all
Anyway, make
fairness,
sure
I
you
am
guys-
a mod on their Twitch page as well.
Well,
nice.
it sounds like it's more to benefit them than anything. So I think that's okay.
Shh, we're on to them.
Although April, shout out to April. She's such a great mod for all of us, including my own personal page. She's a way better mod than I am. Tamara will tell you the same thing because I'm a mod on Tamara's page and I do next to nothing except for clip embarrassing things of him.
That's half your job.
Sometimes she mods like 4 or 5 channels at the same time and
Mhm.
interact on each of them.
Yep.
It's
Mhm.
crazy.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah,
super mod.
Yeah, she is. She
Super
really is.
it's great. Well, I love the community, and I'm glad you guys are part of it. Let's put it like that.
That's
Thank
true.
you.
Wrap it up in a nice little bow
you.
here.
Like I said it earlier on the live, but you know, it's honestly, it's an honor for us to be here with you guys. You know,
Cool.
you guys did it before us. You kind of laid somewhat of the bricks, and so we were just following that path, and so it is an honor.
Well, we're gonna keep doing it. Again. I want you guys back. Talk more MCU when the time comes. When we have more. Well, we can talk more about it soon, but we'll figure out another time because I know you guys have lives outside of this too.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
yeah. Well, anyway, Nate, why don't you take us home?
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening this week. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Jorge, for joining us this week. Where can people find you guys, your Twitter accounts or your Instagram accounts, and where you guys post? Where can we find you guys?
Well, for the Average Nerd Pod on Twitter, on Instagram, it's just Average Nerd Pod.
Okay.
And then, like I said earlier, for Twitch, it's the Average Nerd Podcast.
Completely spelled out.
You can find us. We all have different handles, and my handle changes on each of the channels, so it's going to be difficult. But Average Nerd Pod on socials, and then the Average Nerd Podcast.
Cool.
Dave,
Okay.
anything to say for yourself? You want to
Oh.
share where we can find you?
Oh.
I guess I'm on Instagram, Twitter at dork_night KNIGHT 46. And
Cool.
yeah, Jorge, you forgot to plug your YouTube channel too.
I was
dude,
just
yeah,
actually
yeah,
gonna
do it,
call
man.
him out on that too, Dave. Don't worry about it.
I've like fallen behind on posting on that, but I've been thinking of posting a new video pretty soon. But it's called Just Buy One, and so you can look that up on YouTube. I have like a few videos on there so far. And I think the last time I posted a video was Halloween. That's how long it's been since I posted one. But I'll be back on there soon and I'll post something new.
What is it about?
That's the thing. I haven't found a focal point yet. What I wanted to do was track like conventions when all of us get together and like kind of record that footage. So eventually when we get back to that, I would like to get footage of that because I mean it would be awesome to get our community in there. I mean, whoever's, you know, down to be in it and all that.
Sure.
And then just the hunt of like a collector trying to go out and find things and what it's like to be at conventions. I know not everyone, you know, gets opportunity to go to conventions, so hopefully I can shed some light on what that's like too. So
Awesome.
more to come for sure.
Yeah, please just buy one. Got it. Okay.
Just buy one.
I
You know,
have
because we've
one
all
more.
been there, right? You know, I'll just
Yeah.
buy one.
Yeah. Preach to the choir. We already talked about it here on this podcast. Dave, what'd you
Yeah.
say? I interrupted you.
I have one more thing too.
Okay.
So a few of us have started doing D&D, and Clint included.
Mhm.
That's been pretty fun. We're just a group of different people from like different podcasts, different Twitch streamers,
Mhm.
and everything. And yeah, we've been doing this really fun, kind of like Avengers-ish kind of storyline where we're all
The
different
oddball
characters.
adventures, because
Yeah,
all over the place.
we're different characters from different universes.
It's
Like
really
Clint,
cool.
yeah, Clint is Link from Zelda, and I'm Vegeta from Dragon Ball. Jorge
And
is
Jorge's his crush.
Yeah.
Captain America. But it's really
Uh,
cool. Like, if you guys, I definitely have to encourage that, because I'm still noob, as they say in Dungeons and Dragons, hands down. I'm still learning so much. But it's such a cool twist on it. It's not, we're not, and not that this makes it bad, but we're not wizards, and well, I guess there are some wizards, but we're not like, the traditional characters you find in Dungeons and Dragons. They're all pop culture ones. There's one, Jungle Bry and from his podcast is Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
Like, it's completely random, the characters, and it's so much fun to see how these guys interact to come over. The last one we did, we had to save Santa Claus from it was Evil
Salazar.
Goku and Captain Salazar.
Yeah.
And it was really cool how Jiro did it. So absolutely. So this Saturday, right? I got to make sure to block that off on my calendar.
This Saturday.
Do we have a time yet? Is it 5
I think it's at like 4:30 or 5 or something.
Okay.
Like that. Yeah.
Pacific? Okay, cool. So be paying attention. I'll share it when I get details. Anyway, yes, you guys, as I noticed, are very busy.
You guys
All
have
of
a
you.
lot going on.
Yes.
And honestly, we're so happy that you guys are a part of what we do and just part of this community in general. It's one of those things that when we talk about this many times during the podcast, it's like we interact with you guys now on Twitter, we interact with you guys like through podcasting and through all this stuff, but it's like we're been going to the same cons for years, right? Like,
Mhm.
we would have known each other for years and probably would have been really good friends for years, but it took a global shutdown for us to meet each other, which is really, really crappy. But at the same time, I'm honestly very happy. Like, if there was the best thing to come out of being stuck at home over the year, it would be that we've been able to forge a lot of new friendships and a lot of new connections that once we can meet each other again in person is going to like kind of elevate that experience of going to cons and going to that stuff and being able to do that stuff all in person is going to be
That
amazing.
first con, man, whatever
Oh, it's going to be crazy.
It's going to
gonna
be
be
nuts.
crazy.
I mean, I might not even make it to the con because I'll be so excited
Right.
to see everybody, meet
Yeah.
everybody versus
Just sitting at the
actually going.
airport with a sign like just like,
I'm-
I'm Clint, do you know
Dude,
me? And everyone's just going to come say
I
hi to
actually
you.
might do that. Like,
Yeah.
con is not the con without the people. So
Yeah.
anyway, excellent. Well, thank you guys again. Nate, you want to housekeep us and kick us out?
Yeah. Make sure you're following us on Twitter and Instagram at @the_Dorksmen. As per usual, every week we've got a bunch of streams happening for ourselves. Ryan will probably be streaming Monday, Thursday, Saturday, work depending. Finally got that right because I always confused Tuesday and Thursday for whatever reason, even though Clint's the one that streams on Tuesdays because Clint will be doing probably Mario Kart or Splatoon. So,
We're doing Smash Brothers this week.
Smash Brothers. This is a third game. Okay. Smash Brothers Tuesday night, 7
All of
p.m.
Dave, come play.
Pacific time. Yeah.
Yes.
Everyone come play. It's a good time. Hit up Clint on Twitter if you don't have him as a Nintendo buddy. He'll get you in the games. You guys can play. It'll be a good time. As usual, we will have our Dorksmen game night Friday nights. That's hosted by Ryan. That's on twitch.tv/the_Dorksmen. It's a wonderful time. We play Jackbox. It's all positive. We have a great time, lots of fun and games, lots of jokes. So we'll be there on Friday nights and doing that. And of course, on Sundays, before we record, we'll be on here on Twitch doing the Dorksmen pre-party, and that's always at 3:30 p.m. Pacific, barring a football game or something else.
Life. Yeah.
Life, where some of us can't make it or just misses the entire recording in general. Joey looking in your direction, but it's okay.
He's probably
okay,
pulling out his hair right now. The game's
He
tied.
really is. It's
Oh,
a
never mind.
very close game.
It's close though.
Yeah,
Oof.
it's a close game. But he's enjoying himself. We let Joey enjoy himself. He works hard.
Anyway,
But,
very good.
Yeah. So make sure you guys are listening to the Average Nerd podcast as well. Truly, thank you guys so much for joining us today. Like we said, we're gonna have you back. There's gonna be years and years and years of Marvel discussions to come. And we can't wait to have you guys back again. So thank you
Amen.
again so much, guys.
Sounds great. Thank you. Thank you as well. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else got anything before we sign off and wrap it up for today?
I
Nope.
don't think so.
All right. And with that, that's my secret. I'm always angry.
Word, homies.
Please no gang signs.
Enjoy your chimichanga.
And I don't want to grow up.